Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Congressman Fox. I rise in opposition to S. 1098, which expands the Secretary of Education's already illegitimate, unconstitutional authority, so-called, to transfer student loan debt from those who borrowed it to those who did not. How egregious, once again, that we would try to force taxpayers who did not go to college, who worked their way through college without incurring debt, or who paid off their student loans to now have to carry the debt for those making up to $250,000 a year from a family standpoint. This is an effort to double the number of student loans that are transferred, that debt that is transferred to hardworking taxpayers. This bill allows new authority for the Secretary of Education to, quote, to allow for new loans if, quote, it's in the fiscal interest of the federal government, end quote. If it's in the fiscal interest of the federal government. Now, that's an interesting concept. Since when does this majority consider the fiscal impact of their decisions? There's no limit to how many illegals they will allow to invade our country through the southern border, and there's no limit, seemingly, to how much money they will spend. The answer to every supposed problem is to spend more money, irrespective of the fiscal impact. Instead of considering the fiscal impact on the federal government, by the way, which I suspect we will not do, since the federal government doesn't have any money, since the federal government is in debt for $31 trillion, which is $90,000 per citizen, how about if we consider the fiscal impact on the taxpayers who are on the hook for that $31 trillion and will be on the hook for this new spending that's being advocated for today? The truth is this bill, this legislation, would add billions more to the already terrible decisions we've made fiscally in this Congress. The majority's response to the $31 trillion in national debt that we've already referenced, most recently, is to pass their inflation increase bill. That added $800 billion more in spending, half of it for Green Raw Deal spending, a couple $100 billion for IRS agents, because, you know, I'm sure you hear all across your district like I do, the one thing we need is more IRS agents. And then what is our other response? In addition to the Inflation Increase Act, is to the student loan transfer fiasco, transferring debt from those who borrowed it to those who did not. And today we'll add billions more to that $600 billion conservative estimate on what the cost is of the student loan transfer scheme. So I urge all of my colleagues to oppose this bill, and I yield back.
Gentleman from